What is up, everybody? It is Christmas. Merry Christmas. And today we got some updates from OverHoof. It's been a long overdue video, but I have some good news and some bad news. Some good stuff has happened and some bad stuff. So let's get into it. Today we've got OverHoof. Now, this has been my problem child for a little while. I drug it out of a field and I've gathered some parts. And I meant to do a video a long time ago, but I didn't get a chance to. I've got a pallet of parts here that I'm going to go over. What's next for the car. I did find the engine for it, but there's some bad news on the engine. We're going to go over that. I was kind of scanned a little bit on Marketplace. I trusted the guy, and you shouldn't have buyer beware, just FYI. So I'm going to reveal what I'm going to be putting in OverHoof, and I'm going to go over some of the problems I've got with the engine. And then I'm going to show you the progress, the little bit of progress I made in the car, and I'll show you the setup that I'm going to be working on. So I've got a parts list, car, engine to get into this, so let's go. So as you can see, the overall appearance of OverHoof is still pretty much the same as it was before, with some minor differences. I have gotten a little bit of work done on the engine bay since the last time. I've done some short clips, short videos and whatnot, but we'll open the engine bay so you can kind of see what's going on with it. So I've gotten the engine bay looking really good. I did some sanding and some primering, got it painted, but that's about as far as I've gotten. It got cold, and I probably shouldn't have started this right before Thanksgiving and Christmas because that kind of delayed it a little bit. And what also delayed it a little bit was the parts that I was sourcing, trying to come up with a power plant that I wanted to put in this, because at that point I could have put anything in here. I would have put a Ford engine in it. I would have put a Hellcat engine if that's what I would have found. I was looking at anything and everything, and whatever fell in my lap first, that's what I was going to put in OverHoof. So actually something did fall in my lap. And as I mentioned in the intro, I did kind of get scammed a little bit because I trusted somebody. I went to pick an engine up in like around North Dallas, like Mineral Wells, Weatherford area. And he said it was a good motor, but when I got there were some red flags, but you know what? I still bought the engine anyways. I should have known better. Everything was disassembled from the engine. There was no crank bolt. There was no flywheel. There was nothing. There was no way for me to actually spin the engine over. I would say that was smart on his part, dumb on my part. So just FYI, if you guys ever go to buy an engine anywhere and there's ever no way for you to spin it over, just beware. You're probably getting screwed a little bit. He told me it was a good motor, and it didn't end up being a good motor. But if you guys want to know what I plan to put in here, let's go have a look at it. And it does need some work, and I've been working on it behind the scenes. But what do I have for this LS swap? Yes, I finally said it. I'm going to LS swap my 97 Mustang, aka OverHoof. So under here, I have the V8 power plant, in which I'm hoping to power OverHoof with. Now, I got a really good deal on an engine, which I should have known. You get a really good deal on an engine, and it seems too good to be true. It probably is. Now, you'll see, y'all know if you can see or not, but I've got some parts scattered around here. And for good reason. Because I've done this before, and I got the engine to spin over. And as you can see, I've got it disassembled. Come to find out, it had a bad rod in it. It had a bad rod that had spun the bearing, and it ruined a journal of the crankshaft. And oddly enough, the opposing rod on that same journal, it also damaged that. So I decided to take the engine completely apart. I've removed the crank, the camshaft, the pistons, rods, everything. I'm going to have to replace the crank. It's probably going to cost me the same amount of money to have it turned or buy a new one. So I'm probably just going to buy a new crank. Yes, so I'm probably going to just buy a new crankshaft because all the bearings have to be changed. If you look in here, you can see the crankshaft, the cam bearings are toast. And because this is a Gen 4, it's a DOD block, and I'm deleting the DOD, so I was going to have to replace the camshaft anyways, and I've got the DOD camshaft over there. But I have some components we're going to go over that I'm wanting to run in this engine. There's the crankshaft down there that's damaged. I'm probably not going to bother turning it. I'm just going to get a replacement crank and put in it. Over here, we have the two rods that are damaged. It's rounded. The rod bolts are a little bent in these. I've got one replacement Gen 4 rod here. I've got to get one more. This is a brand new one that I ordered. But at the time that I ordered it, I was only aware that there was one bad rod, so I've got to order one more. So as of right now, I only have 7 good rods. I'm going to reuse the pistons because they're flat tops. But look at the bearings. It's got metal shavings and debris in there. I'm going to have to clean the block out. I'm going to have to come in here and clean all of the oil ports out and clean it out, replace all the bearings, and rebuild it. But what do I have for this LS swap? Yes, I finally said it. I'm going to LS swap my 97 Mustang, aka OverHoof. But I picked up some things that are hopefully going to make this build a little better. These are a set of LS1 Corvette heads that I got from a guy on Marketplace. Now, I got a fairly good deal on these. I kind of know what I'm getting with those. So if there's a few little surprises with those, I don't care because I've got new valve springs for them and whatnot. I'm going to lap the valves. Yes, the creme de la croix is going to be under here. I will show you that in 1 second. Bam. Hopefully this is where all the magic will happen. This is an LS2 car intake. You see it has the 4-bolt drive-by cable throttle body, not the 3-bolt. And we've got LS2 injectors. I don't know if you can see or not. We have the LS2 injectors, aftermarket fuel rails, 8AN crossover with a 6AN feed line. But with this, you got to have additional parts to swap. You got to have additional parts to make this swap work. So if you want to know from your boy Claude, what do you need to make this work? Let me show you some things you need to make this work. I have a couple. I've got both. I bought fuel pumps because you got to have aftermarket fuel pumps when you're doing an LS swap. So I've got two. I've got one external 255 and I've got one internal intake 255 with the Corvette regulator and filter that I'm going to run on this because the 97 Mustang was a full return system. So that'll work really good with this. Now to show you a couple other key components that I've got with it, I got a couple of these. Now these are 406s. I got two of these. They need a little bit of work, but these 406s are actually out of the 4.2 liter V6 Trailblazers. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Claude, that's not going to work. It will work, but you got to make some changes. And I have a V8 4060 bell housing because on those models, on certain 4060 models, you can swap the bell housings. So I'm going to swap the bell housing to a V8 bell housing bolted behind my LS. And I've got a brand new torque converter here in a box. Now, you're also saying, Claude, well, you can't do that. You can, but you got to do some modifications, some changes. You can actually get an aftermarket flywheel and spacer plate that you can use on your V8. The way you can use the 4.2 4060 with the V8 bell housing with the stock torque converter. It can be done. Stay tuned for more. And we're not done because we've got more stuff here that we needed for OverHoof. Now, I'm not confident these are going to work because this actually came off of the 99 to 04 Mustangs. What I understand, they are a little bit different, but if I can make this work, I'm going to because I got a really good deal on them. I got the front rubber insert, but like I said, this may not work because it's for the 99 to 04, but if I got to do a little trimming on it, that's okay. I needed quarter glass, so I've got good replacement quarter glass. This came off of an 03 GT, but you're probably thinking, Claude, these won't work. Yeah, actually they will work. I'll show you in a minute. And now to remove the tarp and show you what else I've got, because I'm not done. I've got more stuff. Now just see here, we've got, I believe this is a Team Z Tubular K member. It doesn't have any mounts on it, and I was okay with that because I knew that I was going to be doing something. That way, whatever direction I decided to go, I can just weld in my own mounts, and don't worry. You can't see them, but down there in a box, they're LS swap motor mounts. I have them, don't worry. And whenever I disassemble this car, you can see, thank you! Whenever I disassembled this car, I removed everything. I removed the A-pillar covers, the sail panels. I removed everything. So I'm replacing everything. I don't have this stuff. I lost it. So I've got quarter glass. I have, these came off of a 03, but they'll fit. They'll fit. I've already tried to put them on there. They fit on there perfectly. The quarter glass windows fit perfectly, just like from 94 to 04, the quarter glass are the same. They fit. And there's Aurora. What are you doing, Aurora? You come help me? You're looking all festive in your Christmas outfit. If you're wondering what this is actually a BorgWarner T5. I picked it up for a smoking deal, but practically got it for free because at that point I wasn't sure if I was going to go with a Ford V8 or an LS or whatnot. So I picked it up just to have it. And it's a good 5-speed. It came off of a 3.8, but if you know anything about the 3.8, these bell housings are the same as a Ford small block. You just got to get a little bit different adapter pilot bearing to use, and you can do that. And then I also have an engine harness for this one because this one was cut out and stripped out of it before I ever got the car. I've got some brake components, and I've also got one of these. This is a brand new reservoir tank for the Ford Mustang. If I decide to use this, I technically can if I want to, but there's still a few more things that I'm going to need. But I've got most of the technical stuff figured out in the direction that I want to go. Now it's just getting more parts and getting it together. And it is taking some time because sourcing parts around the holidays is kind of hard. Finding parts, buying parts, ordering parts. Because let's face it, I'm doing all this myself. So if I order something, I have to wait for it. And it's hard to do a video whenever you're waiting on parts and waiting on stuff. So I'm getting there, but I needed to at least do a video just so that way it feels like I'm making some progress. And I am working, but it is taking some time. And I will get it. I don't know if it'll take 6 months, a year, 2 years, but I'm going to keep going. And honestly, whenever my first thought was, well, what do I do? Do I bail on this? Do I go a different direction? Do I just throw the engine off to the side and get something else? And honestly, I fought with this question for a long time because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I decided to Forrest Gump it. I've already come this far. I might as well keep on going. So I'm already in the weeds with it. It's not going to be that much more, just to get a couple more components that I need, assemble the engine, get it together, and then start mocking up the K-member. But if you look closely with the K-member earlier, you would see that there are no spring perches on that K-member. I'm going to have to run coilovers, which is fine. I don't care. And I want to run tubular control arms and coilovers just to make the front end a little bit lighter. So whenever I throw the LS in it, but this was a V6, so obviously it still has a 7.5 rear end under it, but that's fine for now. I don't plan on thrashing this car right away, but that's why I'm building, because eventually I want to thrash on it. And obviously the V6 4.2 406 out of the Trailblazers aren't as durable, but to get this thing rolling and get it going, I can make that happen. And now I've got most of the bigger things I need. Now it's just working on it and get it complete. But like I said, today is Christmas. I'm not going to do a whole lot today because I'm still waiting on a few more things. And then after Christmas, I got to order a few more parts for the LS swap. I don't have a computer for it yet. I could go either direction. I'm looking at some standalone. So I've got some more things in the works. And I don't know about some of you guys, but I'm still kind of devastated and shocked. You know, just when you think that all the tragedies that you've endured, you're not sure if they could ever be topped. And then a tragedy like losing Greg Biffle along with his family and those other pilots on board as well. I just want to share a couple things with you guys. I had met Greg Biffle a couple times in the past. I got a couple of these, and I dug these out because I forgot that I'd even had them. I was actually looking for something else, and I came across these, and I was like, what the heck? Now, I've got one here from 2001 and one from 2003. Now, 2003 is whenever I lived in Mooresville, North Carolina for about a year or so. And this one is actually from when I was in Michigan at MIS. I was part of the track security at that time. So this is a 2001 Hero card that he autographed, as well as a Hero card from 2003 that he autographed. So yeah, it's a tragedy. Obviously, I didn't know him as well as most other people did. And obviously, today he would have no idea who I am. But still, I really hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. And I agree with what Cletus said.
I don't know if this is for sure going to be the way I'm going to end out all the videos now. I think so. I think I'm going to start saying this. Thanks for watching. Do it for Dale. And be like Biff. And we'll freaking see you later.
I know I'm going to. Thank you, guys. Now let's go break something.